Good afternoon, guys. How are you? How have you been? It has been a minute or two. Oh, molweni bahlali, molweni bahlali, molweni. Ninjani, nianjani. Me, I am good, baguette. I am good. Can't complain. Good afternoon, Gogo.
Sanibonani nonke
Good
apha
afternoon.
emoyeni. Dumelang bana beso moreneng.
Just a moment, Gogo. I am with you now. Here we are back. You know, it has been a minute, but it is what it is. Life is happening. Yeah. We are scarce, but we are here. It has ish, kuningi man. Kuningi. There's lots. But we are here. We are grateful that we are still, alive and kicking, breathing. Yeah. So, without wasting any time, we are back full force. The long weekends don't make it easier, and the public holidays. So we miss doing the lives. We missed you. We missed you too. We know you missed us. We missed you too, ne? Yeah. So today we are talking early childhood development and hyperactivity, everything that has to do with the young lions. Those people are always busy. They have energy for ages. Correct. They have energy for the whole community. Hi, Sister Rainy, how are you? They have energy for Bona. You will be tired and they will want to do something else. They don't understand Bona. They want to do them. While you want to do you, they also want to do themselves. So you have to cut yourself in a few pieces so that you keep up with them. So yes, Gogo has a lot in store for us today. So I hope we have our pens and papers ready. For those that are still going to lay by and buy, ne? This is for you. For the grandmothers like myself, the grandmothers and aunties like myself, we also need to be learning because we have the nieces and nephews to take care of. We have grandkids to take care of. So we have to understand their development. Things that were never taught. Some things were never taught. But for me, I must say, in my generation, we used to have what was called primary health care. we would go to the clinic once every month or every 3 months to go for checkups and lessons. We will be taught things, how to communicate with the baby and how to also exercise. Bona, we used to exercise at that clinic, and I don't know what happened, and things went south, and it was no longer there. Antenatal clinic, the real antenatal clinic, not the one that you go sit and free for the chairs there, and we get into the room, the nurse checks you, and you are done, and it's done, and you go out, and nothing is said, nothing is taught. In my days, when I had my first child, I remember it so well. I was in college, I was even playing rugby at that time. So I was young and vibrant, and I couldn't understand what is this thing that is moving in my tummy. So I didn't have time to entertain. I continued with my life and played my rugby and did what I needed to do. And I got taught. I remember even when I go into labor, when after my water broke, my grandmother, they were coming from a funeral. My sister can tell you the story. I wanted to go into the before the water broke. I couldn't understand. I didn't understand, or the water broke in China. It's not the date that was said to me. So I put bath in the bath. I put water into the bathtub, and I jumped into the bath. And my grandmother jumped. He says, "Do you want to drown the child?" I said, "Which child? It's very early for this child to come." And because I was well taught, I was counting the contractions and the speed and the pain were coming at and all that. Born, it was just, yeah, it was just, it was just, yeah. So yeah, these days the things that we no longer have those opportunities, or I don't know what happened to that, but now we are trying to pass on the message, to educate ourselves and others, to give information for people to know what is it that they need to be careful, look out for, prepare, all that. So, Gogo, as Sister Rini is saying here, that planned parenthood is important, and then followed by preparation. Oh, yes, definitely. Hi, Sister Rini.
Good af-
Hi, Coach. Hi.
Hi.
Hi, hi. Good afternoon.
How are you, Sister
Um,
Rini?
always good. And yeah, the statement that in the background laid here, I think it's where we are trying to take people to. Uh, maybe those younger ones who didn't know what happened before, they will learn one or two things from the older ones and put them in action. Unfortunately, no one is going to care about it because the agenda is different from that agenda that we are laying ground here for. So even before we start, the teachings or the sharing here, it's for information and awareness, education. It's not for any medical or any scientific language. We don't take any position or responsibility for the part that the science is doing, for the part that here we lay just the basics of the experiences and researches that we are finding on the way. It is up to individuals to go out and do their own research.
True.
Don't take everything just for granted and go and say, I know, God to serve, call to serve, said this and that. No. We are really sharing information here. All what needs to happen, go and do your own research. Study, read, compare, and that will help, because that's exactly what we have also done to come to this situation, and we haven't stopped. We still continue, and we take the words of the great Winston Churchill when he once said, to improve is to change. To be perfect is to change often. So we learn every day. And of course, we don't just learn for nothing. We have to, our actions, the way we do things needs to change also. So, but on the flip side, people say, I hear what they are saying. Oh, it's fine. It's true. It's like that. The children are hyperactive, and yeah, we agree. But it's not for my children. There's that statement. People don't resist change. We don't. All of us, we agree. We need to change. But we resist being changed ourselves. So here we are representing and taking notes and whatever for our own children. And with that, I'm hopeful that we're gonna exactly do the change in their lives, because we share here with love, at the same time telling what? The truth in love. So hyperactivity, I think we did start the topic, and then May and April was like, a lot of holidays and all those things, because we did actually outline how the child starts and develop the cell. We did spoke about that. I think you remember the starting point of this very sensitive topic. I must say, it's not easy to talk about this topic, but because we are called to serve, we just have to do it. And we are hopeful that people will also understand that we are not here to bash anyone. We are sinners ourselves. We do mistakes. Some of us, unfortunately, look, I've got young women and who are grandparents already themselves. And these things that we're going to be talking about are the same things that we ignored because we didn't know. You are lucky because you at least have some people who actually just drop the penny there. Us, yeah, we were not even having this thing of studying books and whatever. No, we didn't, unfortunately. But we are glad that we are living up till this far to witness the right and wrongs that we have done. It's very interesting. So the importance of early experiences is key. Guys, catch that one. It is very, very crucial to catch and know how you assist. Unfortunately, you are not going to be the, what do I say? It's only Yahweh who knows our inner knitting, every part of our body. We can only do as He has directed us, that this is how I want you to take care of this body. New start, the foundation. He laid it, gave us the map of how we need to take care of this structure. So the importance of that early experiences of development, it's very important, guys. It's very important because that's where you continue to shape someone who's going to be someone for someone. So if we miss the step now, do we understand that development has been intercepted, and unfortunately we're gonna have all these crises that you are unfolding and like a wildfire already. So hyperactivity, what is it? What is it? What is it that it's hyperactivity? I just took the dictionary explanation, which says it's over active child who can end up that activity being a misbehavior, a disruptive. That's what the dictionary is describing it. But I need to bring it back to where we are talking about a development of the child, specifically the brain. As I was trying to find what cause this fueling of a child who is, it is good and bad, I must say. It is a good thing to be hyperactive, and it is also a bad thing if it doesn't get dampened and it is out of control. I must clarify also that. Now, hyperactivity. A hyperactive, it means when a child is this hyper, there's a part in the brain that is called the pituitary, the gland that is called the pituitary gland. And this gland is called the master. And when I looked at the things that pituitary gland is doing, yeah, it is a master. It is a master. Everything that you can just see, it masters everything that is happening in our body, from even the start, for the egg and the sperm to come together. This pituitary gland has to produce the hormones and all those things for you to be menstruating. This pituitary gland is very busy. It's a busy gland, I must say. That is why sometimes it is called master gland. So the list is so long, it's very long, of its function, right? It produces and releases several hormones, as I've already said, ne? To the body for its important function, the body to function properly. There has to be those hormones. You know, most we normally talk about a lot, guys, a lot. It's just a question. Yes, just please put the puzzles together as I am just trying to outline this function and attaching specifically for in relation to the children. Sorry. So it also metabolizes. Its function is to for growth and metabolizing how the body should transform and manage the energy from the food we eat. Do we understand? Then there's also reproduction side that I already mentioned there. Of male and female, this pituitary has to play part for everything that will happen with your reproductive system. Should release a hormones like estrogen, progesterone. So it responds to stress and trauma. It must release those hormones that we normally talk are the happy hormones to dampen, to also make it better. You shouldn't go to the extreme and manage that at the same time. So it has to control energy. There are people who work until we have this word that is called burnout. So this pituitary must control you. It must control you. It has to have, it make you have a balance. So whilst I'm talking, you should understand the importance then of balancing the new start in all these things. Your blood pressure is controlled by this pituitary, your sex organs, you know, so that people don't understand that these things unknowingly there has to be a control taking place. I remember when I still was practicing and nursing, men will come with their penis just stiff like this. It doesn't want to go back to its normality. And it will be just something like, why? And then we will start then to be laughing. Hormones, if they are not functioning properly, guys, it's really situations that we can find at the end as if they are normal, and yet they are not. And it takes me back to this same thing of a hyperactive child, whereby it's always even taking steps, and we continue to believe that it's normal. It's normal. Because this thing takes a place for to control the aspects of your pregnancy, the childbirth, and the breastfeeding. That's the pituitary gland a function to take control of all those things. So if we are not careful, guys, we end up having this uncontrolled hyperactivity, which ends up to be now having a name. This child has got an ADD. This child has all these names that now are even fueling worse, because we don't know even the cause as to why is this child. We don't go to the point of, but why is this child acting like this? We take it as if, no, she is a child, is still young, and then all those things. And yet we are busy feeding this behavior because we don't know the why. What is it that I am doing that is not right? So we are trying today to make you aware that don't just take anything for granted. Always ask the question, why? Why? What is it that I am doing that it's not okay? Before you can even now, even something that you could correct in a very quicker, simple way, you have now gone out of your way by neglecting it, whereby you're gonna get all these advices now. So what causes this hyperactivity? What is it that causes it? We see different. It is good for a child because there's the signs that a child will show you when he is not well. It's just to be quiet or just even crying. So it cannot be a child who's always crying or just quiet. No. Children are meant to work. And now on this hyperactivity, it's termed, the research says, boys are even there, are even worse than girls, with their hyperactivity, because the testosterone, it's actually, that's what the research say. And I cannot deny that. From my own boys, now with grandchildren, I can just see boys are not like girls when we compare this issue of hyper. They are really, and once you engage him and like making him to use this thing of him being fueled like this, he becomes okay, to show that this thing of closing our kids and closing them even in this thing of classes and whatever. Honestly, we are creating a lot of brain damage to a certain extent, because boys are not gonna just come right with this thing of not engaging and making them be active. They want just to be busy, using this energy. And boy, we didn't see that. We want clean kids. I know I used to say to always cautionary. No, that's what they want. That's what they want. No wonder we need to train them everything. We need to train them a lot of things. I was wondering that the other people, they would train the babies, how to swim. In a bath, they already start to train them how to swim. And it goes on. By the time a child is 5 years, he knows how to swim. You are not so scared that, if I put the bath there, he's gonna fall and drown himself. You are so cautious. It's training, because they are gonna explore for themselves. And lo behold, sometimes you are not even screwed up yourself. Like myself now, I don't know. Can I still had training for swimming? I don't know how to swim,
You
and
are never too old to learn.
I've got a grandchildren now who are gonna want me to swim with them. So you see, these things, I'm talking about hyperactivity that we have to make sure that we understand how to balance that. And that is the key thing that I am interested to talk about, that the causes, before they come, let's nurture this good hyperactivity properly. By doing what? By making sure that the foundation of the new start is done consistently and in a very, very educational, so that by the time the child is independent, can continue doing that. So the main causes, as experts, not me, the experts now feel that this, because when now I'm an adult, it is called ADD. The hyperactivity changed to an ADD at adult stage. Okay, are affected by foods. That's what the experts are saying. By the foods we eat. And look, what do they say? Especially sugar.
Mm.
And they say sometimes even the healthy foods like dairy products, corn or wheat, those are healthy, okay. But they say that can also lead to make your child be hyperactive.
Okay.
So it is befitting that we make sure that we understand that food that we give our children to develop the proper pituitary, the brain, let me say the brain, to develop the proper and healthy brain. What food, how much, when do we have to give them? So I remember we used to make, and even now, it's a no issue of classrooms under the tree. And I think we have disadvantaged ourselves, because imagine under the tree, that classroom, these kids are still getting fresh air. Yeah, the birds still singing, flying here. Okay, yes, it's a distraction, but if the mind is fine, they are going to be concentrating, of course, depending at what age. Because now the problem is we clap all these kids who are hyperactive. You can imagine, take your own. I'm just thinking about my own grandkids now, how hyper they are. And then for 6 hours, they have to be still and sitting there and being taught things that they are not interested even to grasp or to learn. I'm just thinking about, so food, they say, as they have made a research that the background, the physiological background affect the behavior. That's Dr. Smith who's . So the food that we eat are also a chemical. They are also good or bad. We just need to empower ourselves to know what is good and bad. And this, it goes hand in hand with the issue of good chemicals and harmful chemicals. It goes hand in hand with the issue of temperance, abstinence. What is it that you are making a plan? We have to make a plan for each and everything that we are doing, even the plan of the very children that we are talking about today. Does your hyper child have a moderation of anything? Or is it on and on and on and on this thing that, of course, I have introduced him to it? I remember my son, what do you want to eat? Borotho ka peanut butter. Who's saying mantsibuya? Bread and peanut butter every day. Who introduced him to that? It's me. I need now to, where one day I ended up giving him, no, A child must eat milk with porridge with milk, and I force it to him. But I nearly got a hot clap, and my son to date does not to date. He's a 35-year-old young man now with family. He doesn't want you to tell him about pap and milk. So
Yeah.
these
Oh,
things we need to take responsibility also. It's not gonna be easy. We need to take responsibility and make sure that we train ourselves with different things. I normally see also here the Makazi with his son, a grandson, my grandson here. He would say, "You want this? No? Oh, okay, let's try this." Before he eats, so many things have been like enticed to him that you want this, you want that, you want this. So at the end, you have a trick of how you can now make sure that okay, he doesn't want this rice, this he only wants this what is this thing that I don't like so much?
noodles.
Noodles. You have to plan and learn to do them, because I saw the receipt. There is a recipe for noodles. Start it from scratch, because the one that you buy comes with all these colorants, all these, and I was afraid that there's even ants there that are being put now by these countries. So start yours, and it's a simple recipe. It's a simple water, flour, and salt. How banna? And you then put your fillings there.
We don't have time. We don't have time to do all that. We
We,
don't.
we
We
don't have
don't.
time, but we will
We
have
don't.
time to go to
We are
the
in a hurry.
hospital. We are hospital, to the clinic, and your time now is being even increased further, further, further.
We are
So
also
what I'm
tired.
trying to say is that have a clever mind of knowing your child and how to triple, to cheat, his a way of taste and interest and all those things. It's a lot of work. I understand. I do understand. But the issue of hyperactivity goes hand in hand with self control and with what you give and the child. Okay? I spoke about the issue of the good, which is the things like weed and soya and all those things. But here, what is happening here again? If 99% of the soya and 84% of maize grown in South Africa is GMO,
Mm.
and these
GMO kana ke?
genetically modified organisms, these are made in the lab. They are made in the lab, and then they go and plant them. No wonder the soil it's now changed.
Oh,
also.
so that explains why we no longer have things with seats. Okay.
Mm.
Mm.
So this it's done because they actually are saying it the original seats are costing too much, and they have to take care of the weed and whatever, and no wonder they have now developed even that very herbicides, which are the chemicals that can make sure that there is no pesticides and no weed. So we are bombarded by this. And the active ingredients in these things, soya and maize, I was so disappointed. I said, but why did I have to do this research, Bato? When we eat pap so much, the soya, I suspected it some 2 years ago. I retracted from it a lot. When I found that I'm eating a GMO, I think I'm running away from red meat, so that I eat the soy. And now, yes, the soya, it's even the same and even worse. I retracted from soya. And
Mm.
I think my children, they all see that I used to buy soya beans, soya chunks, and all those things. I don't buy them anymore since I discovered this. And I discovered that it's more deadly than the weight, you know. So, in those things, again, there's this chemical which is called glyphosate. All these shelf food, they are preserved with a chemical. It is banned in other countries. Look here in South Africa, they are keeping it. They say they have been allowed to keep it up until 2026, 27. Why
Mm.
is it not stopping, Baton? Because
Lebangwati ba batla ho le
this
fokotsa.
this glyphosate, ne, if it kills the plants which are not GMO, what are they doing to us? Because we are not GMO, we are original. Yahweh has made us to be original with original things. And now we eat this thing that even kills plants which are original, which are organic, which are natural. This glyphosate kills them. So, what about us? It says that glyphosate is a gut bacteria destroyer.
Mm.
No wonder we have all these problems that we are having, because our gut bacteria, which needs to intestinal flora, that has to fight for us. Here we eat something that is saying, get out of my way. I want to work here. So that is why currently the kids are still very, fortunate, those who actually are still, having that strong immunity. Their flu takes 2 to 3 days, he's better. But now, I see here on the comments, Didi saying, that's my point. Continuous, if the parasites and the glyphosates in the food doesn't rest, why do we, as human, rest for detoxifying? We need to continue on a daily basis to detox. We don't have any option for now. That charcoal, let it work 3 times a week. That wormwood, let it work. So that cancer bush, let it work. Let it be a lifestyle, a habit, because now we are fighting with something that we consume unknowingly and knowingly on a daily basis. I don't eat vegetables nor fruits anymore with pills. I put them in soda, in bicarbonate of soda and salt. I wash them, but I still peel them because of these chemicals that are being sprayed, even in the shelves. You see, always when you go to these retail shops, they are busy. So these are the things that are causing a havoc. The development of the brains of our children, it's stagnant. And it's stagnant to the point where now it's being even not growing as it should be. Now it's been even fed things that are destroying even that little bit of growth. So for me, it is crucial for us as people to be able to teach ourselves, because this shelf food, Ben Effengold, MD, writes again about what now? The artificial. That is why it's better to start anything from scratch, to do it yourself. Because these things comes, he says, they come with artificial coloring, flavorings, chemical additives, all these things that we eat, the sugary, the cakes, You remember we once did the color thing. I'm very allergic to anything colorful, because my worry, my problem is that it's an artificially made. And as I go on, maybe next week, I will be also touching the issue of this coloring and chemicals, and artificial flavorings in depth, and you understand why these things that we buy, we need to be careful. Rather, let's start anything from scratch. Be it whatever. Let's train to do everything, because all these other things are preserved so that they have a shelf life that is longer. And now you come and consume this thing that is nice, ice cream, cake, it's nice. But now it's added with the BPH, which is a deadly other chemical that is added here. And people ask, where does this thing of these kids that doesn't want to sit still, kids who are at 7, they attempt to be slow learners. Slow learn. Oh, I hate that that word. Just that word. So now here, these things also, they are aggravating. And understand the stages. It started with food, where you neglected the new start, the foundation for your child. It goes on, you are fueling the brain with the sugar, it gets stunned, it doesn't grow as it's expected to grow up until a child is 25, 30 years, 25, it is now a full grown. But at 7 already, this child, it's matured to a stage of adulthood. And now here I am, busy, diminishing even the slightest light with the food that I'm giving. And now you are pumping this child with sugar, starchy things that are having all these chemicals, and the brain, it's not developing, and it's wanting and wanting to be fueled on this sugar, so that boom, he gets to 10 years, he feels that he comes with a friend, he feels a puff of cigarette, it's nice, the brain that it have, or the snuff, and the brain, you feel okay. Boom, comes 15, 16, he's in at the top gear now. Top gear, he's smarter. That's marijuana, that's cat, that's whatever. It's giving this brain, which is underdeveloped, of course. Understand that you have killed it right there at the beginning with the food that you have been giving. You didn't maintain the start new, the new start concept from the beginning, and make sure that sinks into the child's mind, because you understand that this brain is still developing. It's still developing. It has to develop up until, because they say for women, it could be there at 20, 22. Men, it would be at 25, 30. Then it's a matured. But it has already matured at a very early age, 5, 7 years. Then slowly it has been going. But then the food has been now dampening that growth, that development. And of course, with a lot of other things, now you give the brain all these things. It's worse. There's this thing of gadgets. It's really the brain. It's been fed wrongly than the right way. And now the issue of development, it's stopping at a very early age. It stops at a very early age because of only us not maintaining the issue of what? The building block. With what? With the new start. So what do we do then? What do we do? I thought Didi will just come in. He's gone. She's gone. I'm really not understanding, host, that have I explained, because I wouldn't like to pass here whilst people haven't digested this thing and understood where are we coming from with this issue of development. Boko hore ke eng thena e etsang hore bana ba feleletse ba le ho so thwe they are misbehaving, they are disorderly, they are all these things that we see today. Is it not maybe time for us to maybe just discuss deeper, because I don't want people to take it that whatever I'm saying it's the be all and end all. But all what I'm trying to say is that food, we need to look into it in another way. We need to look into it in another way. I remember checking, there was an experiment by one of the specialists, the scientists, doctors in another school. It was an experiment as to it's food really mind, mood, and behavior impact. Now, this demonstration was about the effects of refined junk foods. It was about that. And it was about how do our moods, behavior come. Like Dr. Alexander Schultz did this experiment in that school, and he had 3 groups. In that 3 groups of rats, of course, he tested it with the rats first. First group was given no artificial preservatives, colorings, additives, or refined carbohydrates. Their primary nutrition was derived from whole grains, organic, of course, the seeds, the nuts, the fresh vegetables and fruits, the raw milk, and water. That was the food for the main group of grades. Then the second group was given hamburgers, white bread, the French fries, old coleslaw, la di tseba tsa di-retail shop tse le di tsebang, milkshakes, the cola drinks, the cherry pies, and water. Eating nice. And then the third group was fed diet of sugared cereals, white bread products, the Jello, the Twinkies, the soft drinks, the milkshakes, the canned fruit, and water. Let's observe, after 37 days, an observation was done. The first group who ate food seemed happy and calm. The eyes were bright, had smooth coats and tails, showed growth, and when held, they remained calm. They didn't jump, these rats. The second group of rats, They grew lazy and were not alert. Their coats were ragged and tails curly, with dull eyes and rough and dry skin. When held, they jump. They were jumping. These were smaller in size than those in group 1. Group 3, they were nervous, skinny, had frenzied actions, discoloration of tails, chewed up their water bottles, bottle, could not be held due to their biting behavior, dialuma. Their eyes were squinted. They were the smallest in size of the 3 that you can find. It's not in you can find it in International Journal for Biosocial Research. Go and look for it. It's there as evidence that processed food, the plate that we have, can be our death sentence.
Yeah.
And this doctor then went and did this experiment to a juvenile prison. These kids who attempt to be delinquent. He went and did this experiment, divided the groups the same way as he did on the rats. And what was discovered there, the results were the same. Most even in that delinquent prisons, these kids are still stabbing themselves, they are still fighting, they are going there for rehabilitation, but they are not rehabilitated as expected. But then the outcome of the first group of delinquent children who went there because of their delinquency, because of us missing the first step of their brain development and the issue of ignoring the hyperactivity of them. These kids, they took very short time and they were released. Calm, respectful, and acknowledging their behavior. And the others, they were still, even with their drugs, drinking, they still drinking, doing all these things. So this was then introduced in schools. This diet was introduced into schools, that the kids would just eat the primary nutrients which are derived from whole grains, seeds, nuts, fresh fruits, vegetables, raw milk, and water. And the results were so impressive. They were very, very impressive. Meaning this issue of diet for a developing children, we must take it very serious and action it. That's just a suggestion from where I'm sitting, from where I look, how the country is unfolding. Isn't it time for us to sit back and think properly? What, why is my child acting like this? Isn't it that I'm the cause of this behavior, this jitteriness, uneasiness? You know, isn't it time for us to do something? And as I said, let us start to detox our children. I mentioned wormwood, I mentioned cancer bush, I mentioned things like chamomile, I mentioned things like, uh, we would be suggesting that as we are going on, let this month, as we are also talking about temperance, be the month, let's be temperate, that we're gonna start to deliberately even do this ongoing detox. So I think I have addressed the issue of development. If then there's still something I don't know, I think for me, for now, I can pause here and say, let's contact YM, let our children be enhanced mentally, and we get these nourishing things to help and destroy at the same time. Because do you know, these parasites that we are talking about, as if it's something there, they are living in us, and they are chowing the very brains of the very children that we are. If then glyphosate, it's something to worry about, we also need to worry about the issue of parasites. It's eating our bacteria, our good gut bacteria. The parasites also, they are taking the food that we are eating. So there's chaos inside us here. So it is very important then to be deliberate, to start to do detoxing. Let that coconut oil work. Let that olive oil work. So the herbs are there. Let us start to, but the first point is our grocery lists. Let's readjust them. Let's readjust them. Let the out of 80%, 80% of your grocery, as you are cleaning your cupboard, let us please make sure 80% of grocery cupboard be stored with the right nutrients. 20%, yeah, for rainy days when you just want to be naughty. But the 80%, let us strive to make sure that we try our best to eat the right things. We had whole grain, and make our own research, because just now I have told you, in South Africa we are the number one country, South Africa, that produces soya. and also maize meal. We export those things. But to meet their margins, they have now gone to the root of what? Of GMO. Because now they want to make profits, money quickly. So are we not supposed then to research and look for small scales farmers who still practice the issue of organic planting? Isn't it time for us to make sure that what we eat, we know the source? Where does it come? The eggs that I buy, what do they eat? How are they being reared? I was looking here, just around here, Binoni. There's quite a number of small scale farmers who are selling vegetables, who are selling organic eggs. Obvious there are cows and there are sheep. I think for us to then say we have done the best, let's make a commitment that the meat, we're gonna buy a sheep from an organic farmer, and we know that that meat, it's organic, and I'm going to get the whole set of the inside. I'm gonna get my sheep and eat organic stuff. Isn't it time for us to think along those lines? Even the cows, because we still have around us here the small scale farmers. So, having said that, let pumpkin seeds work, let papaya seeds work, let coconut, which is having this chemical which is called luric, onion, turmeric, ginger, cloves, pineapple, be our commitment. Carrots, be our commitment that our children's brains will never kill them knowingly. We're gonna strive and make sure that we develop them in a proper way. Thank you very much, host. You are too quiet today. You don't ask a lot of questions as you normally do. But I'm happy that we managed to share some light. And then next week, we will then delve into, I think for the next coming weeks, we will then talk about, some food. How can we help our children? Luckily, I was looking to some of the herbs. I'm sure after this, these are the herbs that some DM will come in. Jango, chamomile, nettle, sting. These are the things that YM can supply you for the development of your brain and the brain of your child. Those who are in medication, we want to point out, yes, check first with your doctor so that you don't say, They said so, they said that. Do your own research. Do your own. Always do your research. We are sharing information here. So we're gonna be next week. There is a help to overcome the issue of hyperactivity, ADD. Because some of us, we are graduated now. We are at a stage of ADD slash Alzheimer's. So we clap ourselves together with the smaller nyana ones also. So we're gonna be talking about what is it that makes it. I have illustrated some few things that we need to be cautious about that can happen in a long run. Eating, having the wrong habit of eating can lead you to, we see all these things that of older people, forgetful, doesn't know, I'm standing there at Pretoria Road calling the kids, oh, where am I? Come and fetch me. I can't find home now. Alzheimer's. So we are gonna be at least making sure that for the coming weeks, we empower you. First, find the reason. We all have kids, we all have grandchildren. Please check all these blind spots. Check them and know where do you start? Where do you start? But the sickness is in the plate. That's what I can say. The plate, that's where the problem starts. The fridge, that's where the problem starts. The cupboard, that's where the problem starts. So let's start to be deliberate. I think now we know. I think we can big yana, small, smaller yana, small, scale down. This one, I'm no more. This one, I'm no more. Not arrogantly, but nicely. No, this one, I thank you. I don't take it anymore. You are not rude. Yes, people will. It gets a bit. Clarity. Oh, ba le teng. Ba tlo naging, so it's fine, but at least you stick by what you know. It's gonna help also them in the long run. Okay, so we having said that, I thank you so much, and share the message. Please do subscribe and share with others this information. It should go out there. Guys, we love you and we thank all those who always support the life, support our mission, and subscribe into our channel. We love you. Thank you so much. Do likewise. Thank you.
Thank you, Gogo. Thank you very much. You are saying that I am quiet, I'm not asking questions. You asked a question I was about to answer and you're already answering. So you are not giving me a chance to get in my word. But yeah, I understand that you are ADHD slash Alzheimer's. I get it. You forgot that you asked a question and you continued. So I get it. I get it. You are talking about the subject that you are a proper example of, because you are at that age of bridging between the ADHD and the Alzheimer's. So we get it. That's why we let you be. And you know, um, you don't even breathe when we are talking. I don't. I don't think you are breathing. You don't breathe. You don't drink water. You don't pause. You just carry on. So you are same as my 2-year-old niece. You are hyper. So I don't know. And I was like wondering, and she hasn't eaten since morning. She only drank water. So
I
what is
start,
making
I
her?
kept
So she
fasting
went
for
to
this
walk. Is
month.
that the walk that makes her so hyper this morning? Okay, fine. Let her be. It's her moment. Plus the life is about, it's lunchtime with Gogo. We're coming to learn and take notes. We are fresh Gogos, so we don't know. We are still learning to be Gogos. And thank you so much for for the information shared and the lessons that you are still learning. Because what I'm taking out of this today is that everything starts from when we are planning to have a child. And during the pregnancy, what we are consuming, what we are eating, is going to also affect how the child develops and what the child comes with. Now the child is here. What is it that I'm doing to help that child to develop properly? Yes, we will always say we don't have money for do this, to do that, but the little that we have, we need to be making sure we are investing in our health and in our children's health. Because also kids copy what we do. You can tell them not to eat sweets, but when you turn on the corner, you eat sweets. So we then become liars. They look up to us to do the right things, whether they are there or not. And especially when we think they are not looking, they are looking. So yeah, child development and nutrition, it's something that is very, very, very important. And indeed the food that our kids are eating, it's affecting them big time, because now they are also starting to be given medication. They even know it by name, hore ke nako ya kwa ya lo nwa nthwane ne, to keep them calm, which is so incorrect. I bear testimony to that I see with my, that little man teaches me a lot. I see with him, when he doesn't want to eat something, he doesn't want to eat it. He wants what he wants. So it's up to me to make sure that he wants, it comes out in a different format. It doesn't just come as an instant something as it is. I add other things that are healthier, that will at least counteract the whatever effect it will have. So with that being said, guys, thank you so much. I don't know if Didi wanted to say something. Thank you so much. We will. The series is continuing, and if you've missed the live from the beginning up till now, you are only coming in now. I will be uploading the this on our YouTube channel. Be free to go and watch it. It will be uploaded by the end of the day. So yeah, thank you so much, Didi.
Oh, thank you, Coach. Thank you, Gogo. Yo, guys, if you can see the research that Gogo called to serve goes into just to prepare for these lives, you have no idea. You have no idea.
Huh?
Gogo, I have maybe two questions. One, because people like to self-diagnose,
Yeah.
um, how do we differentiate between when it's out of order? Because like for example, okay, like when it's now that ADH, which I also like for me, I don't like that diagnosis because there's no such a thing. God has a different diagnosis about that. When it's out of order and it needs our eight pills. The treatment for us, it's eight pills, whether it's prevention or it's curing, whatever. So, and when it's like just a normal child, being having more energy, being hyperactive, because one of the things I've learned about childhood, it's how we tend to want to box children, like you said earlier, with the issue of classrooms. You know, the way we don't see the devil coming at us, and with things that are actually harmful to our kids, the in a long run. So I mean, kids are supposed they are doing their work when they are playing, and I see it with you now as an older kid, how you are climbing the trees and jumping and doing all the so uh, so they are doing their job when they are doing that, as part of their development. We actually came here on this earth to do this thing, so immediately we want them to sit still, and and then if they are not sitting still, we now diagnose them as ADH and whatever. But that they are being kids, and of course, depending on the type of food we give them, we get the energy that matches that kind of food that we have given them.
Yeah.
So when is it needing expert attention and needing us to take precautions, and it's now on the side of out of the healthy side, and it needs sorry healing.
Oh, that's a big one. That's why I said, let's ask ourselves questions as to why. Whereby I am after this life, it is my hope and prayer that we go and observe our children from the plate, because the test would be if we correct it. The issue of kids who attempt, I don't like that word either. There's no child with ADD or whatever. If we correct what we give this child, we maintain the new start. It would be difficult for me to say when the child does this and when the child, and yet you haven't started to minimize that, dampen that hyperactivity with the right food, because the issue of ADH is caused by food, nothing else, by food that we give, that we fuel the brain with the fire, and when it burns, we then come to this thing. And unfortunately, if the child is gonna be taken, or you are getting a phone call from school, your child is disruptive, your child doesn't concentrate, your child is not doing this and no, the first thing that we do, we take them to the very people who gonna now send them to what? To permanent damage drugs. So for me, I can't answer the question that there's a stage, except me as a parent correct the plate of a child, whether he's at what stage or what. Correct the plate. Personally, example, all you know, all yourself. I had the 2, 3 in my house when I started changing health. There has never been a meeting that says now we are not gonna be eating white bread anymore. We are no more gonna eating what. They just saw that the cupboard is changing. We are eating now what? Brown bread. We are eating this, not forcefully. And lo behold, I have never got any resistance. Never, ever. So, what I'm trying to say is when they are young, they are even much better. They are better managed. It's for you to juggle around. I was thinking just now of things like eggs, and it does a nice omelette with pumpkin. Pumpkin omelette. Have you tasted it? So nice. He doesn't want to eat pumpkin as it is. So why don't you chuck it into that egg and make a nice omelette and or put it there in that noodles, You're definitely gonna eat it. So what I'm trying to say is that's a hard question to I answer it with illustrations and some examples, that I wouldn't quickly jump to say my child is ADD. I will start first to find out what am I feeding, because if there's even the scientists are testing to the fact that this HHD it's caused by food. So why don't then, because people believe scientists again. So why then can't we just start there? Correct the plate. New start. Do it. Uh, Take things that are causing a problem to the child, because our children sleeps with phones. Now they've got TVs in the room. The brain does not rest. The brain does not rest. We are sleeping, but you are awake because the two are talking all night long. So that's brain fog, brain damage. It's taking place. That is why you will be wanting to fuel it with things, Unfortunately, is gonna be given all that. Coast make an example that they already know. Go and take your pill. Go and take your pill. So that's the answer that I can give. I know it might not be the best answer. Let's correct the plate first.
It makes sense. There's no right or wrong answer. For me, it makes sense that before we even say, "Hey,
Nice
this
one.
child and this one," we need to start correcting. Check what we are giving the child. Observe, observe. That is the basic. Observe. If I change this to that, if I change this to that, what happens? And yeah, for some of us, yeah. Guys, I have a 2-year-old here in this house, so he's teaching me a lot. So I get it. And I also have animals that have mood swings as well. So I know when they are moody, what is it that they have eaten and what is it that they haven't eaten. So I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place and having to learn
Yeah, I think
lessons.
that was
Mm, that was a textbook answer.
sorry, my network, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
teka teka. So
yeah, yeah, teka. I can
yeah,
see it
I
red.
think that was a brilliant, yeah, haholo fela. Thank you, Gogo, for that response, because it also takes us out of the system's way
Mm,
of responding to things. You always say it's a diagnosis, ya lefatshe.
mm,
But what does God say about this? So
mm,
immediately you are, as a parent, you are told that your child is hyperactive or has ADH. Don't
mm.
accept that. Do not accept that. That's our message.
Thank
Go
you.
and look at New Start. Go look at New Start and say, where am I going wrong with my child? Why? We always say the body is able to heal itself.
Itself.
So, yes, they are telling you this, but remember the body is able to heal itself. All you need to do is to give it the right nutrients. And that, like Gogo is saying, answer the question why, not
Mm,
how, why.
right.
Because they've given you what? They've given you what is the problem. When
Mm,
I go a step further and ask why.
mm,
Look at New Start, the 8 natural pills, answer that tick list and say, where am I going wrong with this? If my child refuses to sleep, like other people would say, my child doesn't want to sleep, blah, blah, blah. Look at the supper that you are giving this child. If the child is disruptive in class, look at the breakfast you are giving this child.
mm,
And detox. I actually suggested to Gogo that if in this series she can please also make time to talk about the detox for kids now, specifically for them. What are we supposed to do? How often? And all of that. Yeah, I think that was a great answer. It's not a Western answer. It's the called to serve those who are looking.
mm. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you. We do this every Monday. So see you next week Monday, same time, same place, same platform. We shall be here and educating, empowering, and learning from each other. Thank you very much. See you sometimes during the week. I hope we have a live this week at in the evening. So see ya. Thank you,
Wait,
guys.
coach, wait, please. I was also writing to ask that Gogo also, I hope as she maybe closes the series, she can give some recipes for young people of what the plates can look like, some samples, some ideas, not to say people must follow that, but just to give some ideas of simple things people can give.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Fair
All
enough.
right.
Fair enough. Thank you so much, guys. And yeah, please share and like. Gogo to save others. I'm saving you guys. So thank you so much.
All right. Okay, guys. Have a good one.